Okay, so it's been a while and a little sunny here, but we are in the new apartment. So exciting. Slightly okay. It is what it is today. I have a little episode for everybody today. This is episode 38 of the My Two Tips podcast. Hi! Alright, so last time I spoke to you was prior to going to the Okanagan Knitting Retreat. That feels hot. There we go. Which was a lot of fun. I had a really, really great time. What can I say about it? My class was a bit of a, which is okay. It turns out I chose the beginner class, which just wasn't quite what I needed. Let's put it that way. There was people in the class that absolutely were benefiting from the class, so I think it is a great class if you require those skills that they're giving to you in it. I would have preferred maybe something a little more challenging or to broaden my scope of stuff. Knitting related, design related, what have you. The really fun parts of the retreat for me were just hanging out with everybody. Our core group of people, I guess, would have been myself, Shannon of Socksetra, Glenda of Wet Coast Wools and the Wet Coast Wools podcast, Marsha of Fairy Little and her sister Scylla, who used to be on the podcast, and Carla of the Knit Nicks podcast. I think that's what it is. And then there was a few others who joined in, and it was really good. Really, really good. We laughed, non-stop. Amazing. I think everybody was just so happy to be around like-minded people and in good company. It was so needed. It was such a needed weekend. The timing for me was a little intense because we moved the weekend after. So that was crazy. The room facing me is our second bedroom. And it's a pigsty. Not everything is unpacked or in its place. For this room, I actually need to buy a desk because the desk that I had was our dining room table. We now have room for a dining room table and chairs and can eat dinner at it, so need a desk, which is fine. All in time. We also need a couch. But that's a story for another day. There is some noises that I can hear outside. There are, I don't know how many different kinds of birds that literally surround our apartment here, but they chirp nonstop all day long. So if it comes through on the audio, I'll deal with it. They're not like chirping offensive anything, so hopefully it's fine. But again, first time for everything, new space. I'm hoping that because we get so much natural light into this apartment that things are just really easy to show and accurate. But other than that, maybe we should get into the goodness. Alright, so I've got 4 finished objects today because I've been finishing things like crazy. So before I left for the Sorrento knitting retreat, I finished this pair of shorty socks, which is the Netty socks by Amy Miller. I knit these before back in the fall in like a micro striping yarn. So now that you can actually see the cables, they're still a teeny bit damp. I blocked them yesterday. The yarn is Spud and Chloe Spud and Chloe Fine, which is a wool and silk blend. I don't think it's merino. It doesn't specify on the label, I don't think. But I really enjoyed it. It's a little rustic feeling as you're knitting with it. The silk isn't like super silky silk, but it is nice. And I believe this is the Sidewalk colorway. So they're done. They are my Chilton Puff socks because I think that they are very Chilton-esque, Rory-esque, school uniform kind of thing, but they're really pretty. What else did I finish? I finished another pair of socks. These were also sitting around for a really long time. The one that you're seeing now is the first sock of the pair, which I finished January, I think. This is the second one. So the feet are quite different on them. Same stitch count, well, I didn't measure the gauge, but same gauge, same needle size. The thing that's different is this sock. The first one was knit completely on 9-inch circulars with some DPNs for the toe. Fish Lips Kiss Heel, 72 stitches, 2x2 rib for the leg and the front of the foot. Same thing, except here I switched to using Magic Loop. So I'm not entirely sure where I actually switched. I think it was before the heel, but don't quote me on it. Somewhere in there. But that little bit of difference in my gauge and tension caused the striping to kind of change. This one I prefer because it just kind of continues that spiral stripe all the way through, but I love them just the same. They are that intense in real life. They are very bright. I think if I try to dye this kind of style of yarn again, I'll go for more muted colors because that seems to be what I'm into lately. So those were the socks. Oh, my back's already hurting. We so need to get a new couch, like, pronto. The other project I took to Sorrento with me was the gear wrap or shawl or scarf. It's ginormous. That's it folded in half. This is it, like, full on. So you can see the little, like, rays going through it. Oh, you can see it. Just slightly. See how there's that slight color difference right there? There's this foot patch. Where's the other end? Anyway, in there's one skein. There it is. I can see it. So there's half. And then the other one crops up there, kind of on my shirt. So there was a clear difference in dye lots in my third skein of yarn, which I had no idea, even as I was knitting it. Somebody, when I was knitting in like the lounge area at the retreat, came up and was like, oh, there's a clear color difference. I was like, didn't see it, don't care. As a whole, I mean, now that I know that it's there, I pick up on it a little bit easier. But, I mean, it's all relatively the same. This thing is ginormous. And, where's that line? There's the first one, second one. So this fourth skein is essentially all the extra length I added from here to here. So it's over a foot, I think, of length that I added to the scarf, because where it had been would have only been, let me just fold it over here. And of course, prior to blocking, it was that much shorter. But it would have been, yeah, over a foot shorter, which wouldn't have been what I wanted. So here's one end of the original pattern is written without any extra repeats. And then to there. So like it's still my wingspan, but just my wingspan. I have a whole extra like foot and a bit. So with the Gira pattern, or Gyra, it is a Bristol Ivy pattern for Brooklyn tweed, sorry. I used the Loft, which is their fingering weight, and it's the blanket fort colorway. The first two skeins I purchased at Knit City. The third one I purchased at the Jared Flood book signing at Beehive in Victoria. And the fourth skein was brought to me by Carla because she's amazing and let me finish the shawl by bringing it to me. So happy. Somebody on their project page for the shawl had written that you need to repeat the second half of chart F. I did that a total of 4 times, and I had to split spice for like the last 10 stitches. I took a little bit off of my main tail, so now it's super short, and split spliced and continued binding off. Because it's a non-superwash yarn, I am not worried about it. If it had been a superwash yarn, I probably would have freaked out and cried for a bit and then figured something else out. But thankfully it worked. It's totally too warm now to really wear this thing, but it is just lovely. After washing it, there's so much movement and drape to it. A little bit of a bear to block because it's so freaking long. So I actually ended up folding it in half lengthwise and pinning it on itself when I blocked it, which worked pretty well. Gotta do what you gotta do. And then I also have another, well, it was new cast on and now it's a finished object. Cast this on last week. This is the Colorfield shawl by Kemper Ray, who is junk yarn, podcaster, designer, and yarn dyer. I really, really like it. I cast it off, I guess, yesterday. I did do the Icelandic bind off. I do like the way it looks, but I'm not sure if I'm a fan of actually doing the bind off. It hurt my hands. And I don't know if it's because it was the first time that I used it or if it was because it's just a different way of working the stitches that, I don't know, different, made my hands hurt. But it does look really pretty and I do like it. So maybe in a future or something or other we'll use it. So for this shawl, it is the regular size shawl. And she has now come out with large size for worsted and DK weights. This is done in Madeline Tosh DK. The speckled colorway, the white one, is Madeline Tosh Modern Fair Isle, and the blue is the Aura colorway. I love these colors. They're so pretty. I can see easily both becoming a sweater. This blue I just love. It is that kind of rainy, bluey color. Ugh, I just love it. I really just love it. I would love, I think maybe the Campside Cardi, maybe, in this color. I think I would wear the crap out of it. And after I bound this off, I thought it was going to be too small. It's definitely grown with blocking, which I'm so happy about because it's actually a more decent size than it would have been had I not blocked it. We all know I don't tend to wear my shawls like this, but it does sit pretty well. If I needed to, it could keep my back warm. But it's so pretty. The rib was also really kind of fun, and it reminded me a little bit of the May cardigan that I knit, just because it has this kind of corrugated kind of texture to the rib. But it was a hell of a lot easier. Just gonna say that. That's all I have, really. I do have another project. Another project to show. It's the only one that's currently on my needles because I haven't cast anything else on yet. But at the knitting retreat, keyword knitting retreat, I learned how to crochet. Who knew I could do it? I certainly did not. So I believe it started because Shannon was wanting to learn how to do crochet because she wanted to do a granny stripe blanket. And Glenda was going to teach her how to do it. So I joined in on that. And the real momentous changing, I don't know, thing for me was I need to hold the crochet hook rather than in my right hand, in my left hand. It immediately made sense. Completely made sense. I started, what did I start with? I started with worsted weight yarn that I think had been given to me in my class, and I was just fooling around with it. Somewhere over there, I finished like a little mug ruggy thing. You might have seen it on Instagram. It's yellow, photograph with a beer can. And then I played around and I crocheted like a flower thing. And I started my blanket with my Susan Bates. Is that it? Yeah. Hold on. Let's cut that. With my Susan Bates like fix-it tool. No idea what size it actually is. It's similar enough, I think, to this size 3D 3.25 millimeter hook. Just another Susan Bates, I think. Oh no, this one might be a Loops and Threads. I went to Michael's and purchased some just because I'm really not sure if I want to spend the higher dollar amount on like an Addi crochet hook with like the cushy handle or anything. I will say that crochet hurts my hand. I can only do it for so long, and then those two fingers start to get all crampy. I'm trying to play with ways as to how I crochet. But I am very pleased to say that I'm really enjoying it. When this move was going on, there's been issue after issue, stressor after stressor, and this has really just given me that time to like slow down, calm down, gather myself, de-stress, and just enjoy things. So seeing it on camera right now makes it look really big. It's not really big. It's my wingspan. 5'2" 3/4". So essentially it's a lap blanket. I didn't want to make anything drastic because I don't have that many minis, and I actually wanted it to be something manageable. Yeah, I have no idea how to weave in ends when it comes to crochet. No idea. So there's quite a few hanging off the end where I've switched colors. Yeah. Also, no idea as to what's the right side and what's the wrong side. They look the same to me. And it's a blanket, like who cares? I'm not being super like critical as to where the colors change depending on the size of the mini or leftover I have. I just put it all in, which I think you can see more at the bottom of the blanket. Like there's that green stripe, and then there's that white stripe, which is kind of not all the way across. I don't care. I'm loving it. Loving it. But I think I'll zoom in and show you the colors a little closer. We're closer. So, here's my blanket, guys. So at the bottom, I actually crocheted my foundation chain in first row of crochet with sport weight yarn and my Susan Bates little hook. And then I started, I don't think there's too many yarns in here that aren't my own from projects, but I have at the bottom, the multicolored variegated is Black Cat custom yarn in Sedona. Followed by that is Richard DeVries in, I don't know, the gray, cotton candy or candy floss. Then there is some Haven Fiber Arts in wood carver, more of the Richard DeVries in just the white, which I think was pearl. The green is Fawn and the Fox Nazgul, a little mini that she sent me, and I think I've used in my Halloween socks, I think. Then there is a thick stripe of, oh, that was a mini that was sent to me by Shelly, so I've started to finally use them. And I think it was a lichen and lace. And then there's more Fawn and the Fox in the Let's Stay Home colorway. The blue in there, the bright blue, which isn't actually looking that bright blue on camera, is hand dyed by me. Then there's some Hedgehog Fibers and Genie. I think the next one might be a Madeline Tosh mini from Shelly as well in, I don't know, a yellow. Then I have 3 of the colors from my Exploration Station. So down here is Knitting a Love Song in the Knitting a Love Song colorway. Minty green, hand dyed by me. Gray from, what was that one? Ocean Park Yarns or Cedar House. A gray, really nice. And then there's a mini, which is the Peony colorway from Lichen and Lace, which is just freaking gorgeous. There's a yellowy gold in there, which is my favorite yarn from Kaleidoscope Dye Works on a BFL bamboo base in the Golden Quartz colorway, which is my absolute favorite, and I'm really upset that she doesn't dye anymore because I would totally love it for a sweater, probably mixed with that Peony color because on camera they look really good together. Then there is the Amethyst Purple, which is Dye Monkey Yarns. Amethyst, Tap Monkey, maybe? It's her soft base. One of them. And then I've got this other fun little mini that's popped in there, which I'm currently working on. And I think it's like Wildflowers from Laken and Lace, or it's a hedgehog. Not sure. Super loving it though. Andrew actually likes it too. Which is a lot of fun, so he's kind of like, ooh, like what color is gonna go next? And I'm like, I don't freaking know, I'm just kind of going with it. So I have a ton of like pink and purple minis, which means it's gonna have kind of that feel to it. I think in the end it's not really gonna matter. But the next few colors I want to put in are these ones here. Just, well, look, I picked out like 3 pinky ones. Yeah, this one's more purple and blue. But it's so pretty. This was given to me by my friend Margaret. And it is Serena Nicole Yarns No Sleep Till Brooklyn. I would absolutely love minimum pair of socks in this colorway. More so a featherweight cardigan, but not the featherweight, a fingering weight cardigan in it because it is just so pretty. Then like that's pink, that's clearly hot pink. This is another Serena Nicole. I think this one was Smells Like Teen Spirit. So like I'm trying to bring in more like blues and greens. There's like some yellowies and peachies. Birthday Cake from Hedgehog Fibers. Which, seeing it in person, I mean, I do like it, but I'm glad that I didn't go like gung-ho and order it online. Just saying. Yeah, a limey green, which I think was a little, don't remember, don't quote me out, but that looks a little, no, I guess it is pretty bright. It's got black speckles on it too. Now that one's really purple, can't remember the name, but it's in the middle. Really like it. Maybe Smells Like Teen Spirit. No, I said that one already. Don't know. Those are it for right now. I do have this bag of minis. It's been a collection of mine. And some were gifted to me. There's a lot of like dark colors in here, which I don't think will end up going in, but we'll see what happens. I'm trying to keep it to just fingering weight yarns. Obviously, throwing in like DK weight and stuff like that's going to really mess with the overall consistency of it. So, fingering weight granny stripe blanket. Or it's just like a cool scarf already. And actually now with the size that it's at, it's actually cozy to have on my lap as I'm crocheting it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. We still have the fingering weight sweater cowl going on. I am hosting that along with Kayla of 3 Jewels Knits podcast and group on Ravelry. And I think her FO thread has a few entries in it now. I think mine might too, so yay everybody! I really want to get something else on my needles, but I'm not going to stress out about it if I don't. I want to, really want to. It's already the 12th of June and I haven't started a sweater for the month, so I kind of need to, want to. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe another t-shirt of some sort. But again, whatever happens, happens. If you are knitting a fingering weight sweater, shirt, pullover, cardigan, anything that is top related and covers the body, like we're not talking bras, I guess would be the only really non-included thing. Join in, make sure you show us what you're working on, and then don't forget to enter your object into the finished objects threads. If you're entering in my group, please be a group member of the podcast and a subscriber to the podcast as well. And I believe Kayla is also saying the same for her FO thread, so yay! And that, as of right now, is still running until the 15th of July. So there's just over a month left. You can totally squeak something in. I have another cal in the works, I think, which I'm super excited for. It's another sweater cal, so just FYI. But we're hashing out the details for that one. I'm so excited. I think I do have acquisitions, but one of them I don't have in my possession yet, and the other ones are all packed away in the stash closet behind me, and I am not taking them out right now. I will show them to you when I can. I think that's all, folks. Thanks for joining in to the crazy. Hopefully within the next few weeks I can get my crafting area all set in place with like a proper table so I don't have to sit on the floor. And, you know, have things a little prettier in the background. But I think that is definitely it for me. So thank you so much for tuning in. You can find me on Ravelry as E Garnier. Instagram as E_Garnier. The Ravelry group is My Two Tips Podcast. Maybe it should be My Two Tips and a Hook. Probably not. But I think that's it for me today. So hopefully having a great day, weekend, week, holiday, vacation, whatever the heck you might be doing right now, and see you sooner than later.